to Pink Ambitions, and we'll be going over Romeo and Juliet, the famous love story. We'll be going over the themes, overall summary, mood, and tone, everything you need to know to prepare yourself for the exams. Okay, so let's go over the themes first. There are many different themes in the entire play actually. So the first is love versus hate. Now this is also a very common um, common essay question actually. Love versus hate. The most potent theme in the intertwining of intense love and mindless violence. Shakespeare portrays how this overwhelming romance struggles to survive in a society poisoned by an ancient, senseless feud between the Montagues and the Capulets. Love is also examined in various forms, from the countly and unreatically love Romeo initially feels for Rosalind to the profound spiritual and physical oneness he shares with Juliet. The next um, theme is faith and free will. So, from the first scene, the course establishes Romeo and Juliet as star-crossed lovers. Okay, star-crossed means it's already destined to happen, indicating that their tragedy has predestined and written in the stars. The play constantly wrestles with whether the characters' deaths are the result of unstoppable cosmic forces, divine intervention, or simply a mysterious chain of hurried choices that they make. The next theme is individuals versus society. So we know that Romeo and Juliet now, they were individuals who fell in love and broke all the rules of the society and broke all the rules of their feud. So Romeo and Juliet are constantly caught between their own personal desires and the strict individual structures around them. Piracy and family duty. Lord Capulet's insistent that Juliet marries Paris highlights the power that men held over their families, property status, forcing Juliet to choose between her duty to her parents and her own autonomy. Masculine honor. Characters like Tybalt, Mercutio are slaves to their pride, where the slightest insult demands a violent response, evoking that unchecked anger is lethal as the family feud itself. Reconciliation and peace. While the love story ends in tragedy, their deaths achieve what years of hatred could not. The loss of the children forces Capulet and the Montagues parishes to recognize the devastating cost of their feuds, leading them to finally reconcile and erect state statues in honor of Romeo and Juliet. So, as we all know, at the end, Romeo and Juliet die, and their family feud that's been going on for generations finally comes to the end after their death. Okay, the tone. The tone is the author's attitude. Okay? Always remember that. It's what the author is trying to evoke. Okay? The tone is passionate, urgent, and ultimately sympathetic. Romeo and intense. Shakespeare treats the love's feelings with high seriousness. He uses beautiful religious imagery to show their love is pure, not just a childish crush. The next tone is urgent and hectic. The passing feeling rushed, Shakespeare creates a sense of dread, showing that the characters are running out of time. Okay, it's a very rushed type of tone. Everything happens very fast. Critical of hatred. The narrative mocks the senselessness of the family feud. It exposes how adult pride destroys youth. This is very important. Now, the mood is the reader's atmosphere. The mood is how you interpret the poem. So, how do you interpret the poem? The mood shifts drastically from playful to dark and intense and sorrowful. Act 1, 2, and 3 scenes, light and cosmic. The atmosphere is witty and energetic and romantic. It is filled with crude jokes from Mercutio and the nurse and magical romance at the ball. But the turning point, the mood shifts. Okay, so a lot of the time there's many different types of moods. There's also many different types of tones within the play. So the mood shifts here when Tybalt kills Mercutio and Romeo kills Tybalt for revenge. Okay, so Tybalt is Juliet's cousin, and Tybalt kills Mercutio, and Mercutio is Romeo's cousin. So Romeo, after getting married to Juliet, Romeo, Romeo kills Tybalt, and then Romeo is banished. So now it evokes much more seriousness in the poem now. So Act 3, Scene 2, and Act 5, heavy and melancholic. So the atmosphere becomes catastrophic, anxious, and desperate. Darkness and the night dominate, and the setting, the feeling of doom grows until it ends in an overwhelming grief to the Capulets and the Montagues. The setting, so the overall summary, it's a set in Verona. It's a place in Italy. William Shakespeare's tragedy of Romeo and Juliet followed two star-crossed lovers, teenagers from rival noble families, the Montagues and Capulets, whose innocent, passionate love defies their family ancient violent feud, secretly married by Friar Lawrence in hope for an ununiting the warring houses. Their joy is abruptly shattered when Romeo kills Juliet's cousin, Tybalt, in revenge for his murder of his friend Mercutio, resulting in Romeo's banishment from the city. To escape a forced marriage to another man, Juliet fakes her death using a sleeping potion, but a catastrophic miscommunication prevents Romeo from learning about this, believing his bride is truly dead. A grievance-struck Romeo drinks poison at the tomb, promoting Juliet to stab herself with a dagger, waking up to find him dead beside her. This devastating doubt, suicide, ultimately shatters the cycle of violence, forcing the mourning parents to reconcile in permanent end to their senseless feud. And that's basically the overall summary of Romeo and Juliet. Thank you for watching.